Hello, everyone. Um, yeah, okay. This is me, Samuel Alexander, back with more poetry from the sixth in my I See Things in Blue series titled Lewis. Um, I know that I performed Cry of the Unseen quite a few times because if I can find a piece that I can land in, I'm going for it. Whether it's fun and sensual or dark and gloomy and cold. Um, and I used to get that a lot with God's Flight. Like it was a silent, because people get silent. But when I used to do God's Flight, I used to get that pretty often. Like, okay, that was cold, and it is. But there's another one that I've got it's gonna show up in here. I think I used it. I don't know if I used it in this one or if I used it in the final one where things ultimately, yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there. But I did do this one a few times, and I like it because it plays with the idea of being trapped in rooms. Like if you go back to the last book, I think it was the last one, you get happiness is home, and so I'll never be happy as long as love is lost. And I do use rooms. I not necessarily rooms, but I do use the idea of being trapped in situations. And in this place, just like in Happiness's home, it is a physical room, whereas in I can't remember what that one was called, but or the one where I was trapped because of my own race. Um, Yeah, that one, I was chained, visibly restrained against my will, detained. That one was more metaphorical, but it was still about being trapped within a circumstance. And that theme comes up a lot. Even in my good poems, the ones that are about love, it's about being sucked into something and being inside a certain space. I like playing with spaces. Um, and this one speaks to that. And I like the way it rounds out at the end. And it's very Dario. Um, I wouldn't say it yet because it plays on the last line of the poem, but that's why it's here. It's not quite as heavy as Cry of the Unseen, but it's in the same realm, and that's why it's here. So I'm just going to read it. And as you notice, I said a lot of my poems have some heft, not in emotional weight, but they're not usually short. They're usually at least a solid normal page or more. So the fact that I've done a few that aren't even a full 5 by 8 page is a miracle within itself. I'm shocked, but this is not one of them. So, and the last one was also not one of them. So here we are with Freedom Song. I'm in a place that I can't escape. Even though I hold the key to open the door as I step through, I find myself in another space, the same as the space I'm trying to escape. But just across the room, I see another door, and the key I have unlocks it. So through I go, expecting something more, something new, something. My heart drops to the floor as my eyes behold a room individual to the room before, a room identical to the room before. So I cross the room again, turn the key, yearning to be free, but find myself yet again in another duplicate chamber. The space I must escape grows with each key turn, each progression that I make. Chambers upon chambers, a maze within a maze, and everything about this space that I try to leave behind grows with each new room, and my despair is multiplied. And though I'm sinking into the well of saturated madness, though I know each door will only bring me more dread, though my logic tells me to throw away the key, I can't, 'cause I know out there freedom is calling me. It's still singing my name in a key so sweet, a never ending song pulling me along. I must reach it. I know it's behind the next door. But alas, here I am in the same chamber once more. There is no escape from this place. There will be no release, but the song keeps getting louder, saying, come to me, over voices saying, go left, and voices saying, right, voices saying, do this, and others saying, not tonight. A crowd of people influencing me, pulling me this way and that. I must break free from the noise. Freedom lies behind this door next. But in this next space, I sink deeper into the maze. But freedom's song is still calling, that one lone voice above the crowd. It's so loud I must press on, must continue, cannot give up, must run, must go through this door, must navigate this maze. Why won't this crowd shut up? It's way too loud. I can't hear myself. Can't find my position. Got lost in the space. I must escape. Must escape. Must escape. Must escape. I know if I find the room from which freedom sends its call, my voice will be found. And that room will be the last of them all. I will open every door. Will continue. Will press on. I will not let this maze defeat me. Now a new voice says, I'm crazy, but I'm not. I'm determined. This next door for sure has to be the one. Why does this room look the same? What's wrong with this key? This space is so familiar. The walls, the paint, the smell, the sound. I'm going in circles. My voice will never be found. Still the torturous song of freedom continues on so loud. It's laughing at me, mocking me, enjoying my pain, my frustration, the agonizing torment of falling for the same trick over and over again. Wow, keep singing your jesting tune. I'll prove you wrong. I'll win. I'll win. I'll find myself in the next room. Trust me, you'll see. No longer will your malady haunt and mock me. 'Cause this time it will be different. This time I will take my time. Open it slowly, slowly, slowly. Just a bit. I'll do it much, much slower than I did before and take a peek, just a slight glance, in the crack of the door. That's all I'll need, just a glimpse, nothing more. Maybe I'll catch the song before it leaves the room. Maybe freedom's trying to tell me I'm too hasty, move too soon. So I take a peek inside and I can't believe my eyes. I shut the door, throw the key across the room, sit in the middle, break down and cry. I had just witnessed myself peeking out the next door, across the room, from behind. I know now why I can't escape this space. I'm trapped inside my own mind. So yeah, that's why I couldn't say it earlier. Because this is exactly what Dario is. He can't escape his situation because he's trapped himself inside himself. And he thinks the song that he's chasing is actually freedom, but what it is the desire to want love from his parents. And he's never going to get that. So he keeps chasing this idea that he's trapped inside himself. And he's never going to reach it. But since the doors are closed, he doesn't really see what's going on until he finally, like in acceptance, kind of breaks free. He's not quite there yet because that's obviously not going to happen until the end of Lewis, because this is another Vantage book, except it's like Kevin. So even though he knows what's going on, he gets the other side and a few extras of the scenes that are in, extras of some of the scenes that are in Gavin and are in Rayland. Because there's a lot going on with him and Lewis that nobody else really knows, and it plays an immensely big part in what helps Dario be free. And it is, again, the heaviest book. And that's why these types of themes, I saved them for this one, even though they fit for every book, because they're very Dario. Since I knew what I was getting into with Lewis, I definitely intentionally did not use these types of poems for that reason, because I knew that they had a home here even when I just started. I knew which poems I was going to be looking for, and I was committed to it. The other ones maybe took some more guesswork, but Lewis is by far the most important book, and it gets the most emotional pull out of me when I listen to the audiobook. It's just rough, and putting that inside a teenage mind frame and thinking about, if I was dealing with all these things and I was 10, 11, 12, 13, how would I deal with them? And having an adult watch you go through them is where Lewis came from, and it pretty much grounds the entire series to see how he's helping Dario navigate everything, because there's only one more book. Every single thing that you've seen him go through, Lewis has also gone through it. But when this really awful thing that happens that I haven't put in any of the books yet, because you get it via Dario in the last book, he stops talking to Gavin, and he stops talking to Lewis. Stopping talking to Lewis is huge, especially when Lewis does not stop talking to him. And we're in the beginning, we're before that, because the only reason we're in Lewis's book is because he finally goes to his house. This whole first semester of school, his senior year, changes things. He goes to talk to Gavin, and then after that, he goes to talk to Lewis, and he keeps talking to Raylan. Raylan is, of course, the glue in the friendship, so he never stops talking to her. But when he was going through whatever he was going through early on in the year, around his birthday, in like January, February, he really pulled back because he didn't know how to solve his situation. And this is why he was trapped so deeply inside this life that he had fabricated, that when it completely crashed, everybody saw it. He was the most depressive and anxious than he had ever been in his entire high school existence. And nobody could deny it or kind of write it off as he's just going through teenage feels and emotions. It was obvious that something was going on, and a lot of it has to do with him no longer being able to be trapped in his mind. The walls were broken, they were crashed down, and the life that he was planning to create for himself, he really did have to think about it and decide, is he still going to do it anyway? And that was very emotionally draining, and he decided he wasn't, which is fine. That's where the book Acceptance actually comes from, because from February onward, he really sank into these. He sank into it very deeply. January. He sank into this emotion and really thought about it. Even quit football. Like when he came back and was somehow emotionally in a state for Kevin to just kind of swoop in, the type of friend that he would never normally have. It took a while to get there. He didn't just wake up and get there. And that's why this poem is here, because it very speaks to the first 17, well, let's say from when the book starts, so from 5 to 17 years of his life. It speaks to how he's been trapped inside his own ideas of what he needed to be for so long, that the only way to realize that was happening was to open the doors as slowly as humanly possible and physically see it. And the manifestation of that coming was his world quite literally falling apart that year, that junior year. So, here we are. And I like the way it flows, especially how it's so intense and it's so heightened. And it's like, I must open this door. I must go. I need to escape. And then it gets down to the end, and it's like, I'll win. I'll find myself, and trust me, you see, no longer will your melody. This time I'll take my time. And from there on, it's a good 15 lines or so. I'll open it slowly, slowly, slowly. And it gives the reader, in this case me, obviously, anybody who reads it, the time to dictate how soft they're going to make it and bring it in as soft as humanly possible. And in the soft space and the not so anxious space and the not so desperate space, that's when they see it, that they're quite literally trapped within themselves. And that's what it took. It's something big and catastrophic and like a few weeks of nervous breakdowns for him to, when he normalized and everything came back to really think about his situation over the next couple of months, to basically half a year, all the way down until school started again. And he came back with the energy that I'm just going to do it. And he embraced that idea, but not necessarily the fear and the complications and everything that came with it. He's just Dario. So once he decided he was going to do it, he was going to do it. And yeah, so that's why this one's here again. And there's not much more I can say about it. I managed to keep it under 20 minutes, so that's good. And if you made it this far, as per usual, thanks for stopping by.